Well, Chiefs fans, we squeaked out another one this week. I'm going to say it's getting harder and harder to, I don't know, not have pulmonary reactions to these games every week in and out. In my mind, going into this game against the Carolina Panthers, we definitely should have uh, walked away with it hands down. Now, I'm not saying that the Panthers are an absolute horrible team. Since Bryce Young has come back into the starting quarterback role, he seems to be more poised at being a better quarterback. And, they were on a 2 game win streak, but there was still 3-7 going into this game. And I'm not sure what exactly is going on with the Chiefs. They just seem to kind of want to make sure that everybody lingers in these games to make them exciting. I don't know, but I, it's really tough to sit and watch that secondary and what they were allowing, and some of the penalties and oh my goodness, the penalties. The referee teams were just flag happy, and when there's flags in every play, it's like, oh my gosh. Now I know what you're saying. I know you're sitting there and you're like, Golden Jay, listen, the refs are going to call what these players are doing, and I won't disagree, but there might have been a couple of them where I disagreed, and on both sides of the ball. I don't understand sometimes what goes on in the refs' heads, but I don't know. It was tough. It was a tough victory to watch and to take in. I'm glad we came away with the dub, but still, we need to fix a few things in that locker room, and I hope, and I'm sure, and it's been proven last year that they will make this thing happen like they always do. They kind of, it's like they're feeling it out all season long, and then when the playoffs hit, it's like, oh yeah, well we knew what we needed to do the whole entire time. Now we're just gonna do it. So, oh yeah, listen, this is the Indiana Chiefs fans podcast. I am Golden Jay. The Chief, it will not be joining us tonight because he is still in the midst of training and orientation for his new career in real estate. So yeah, I did talk to him just a little bit ago, and told him just to go finish up what he needed to finish up, not worry that I, Golden Jay, will take care of this. So here I am, hanging out with you, Chiefs fans. Chiefs Kingdom, baby. That's right. I love my Chiefs. I love my Chiefs, and like myself, nobody's harder on the Chiefs than I am. That's right. I am my own worst critic, so you can figure that one out. But if you ever listen to any of my music and any of the stuff that I've scrapped, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's not going to be a super long episode. We're going to get into the facts of the game. I will not have a Where Are They Now tonight because I've got a very special one that I think the Chief can actually get. Uh, and it's a really cool one, so I'll save it for next week. I've got it right here, so no worries. But all right, let's break down some stats from this game. We got Patrick Mahomes going 27 for 37 for 269 yards. Kareem Hunt, what a battle day he had. He was 16 carries for 68 yards, which I think in the grand scheme of it, I don't know that he had a lot of breakaways. I mean, he was only averaging about 4.3, maybe his longest was 13. He kind of had uh, yeah, it was a brutal day. No touchdowns for Kareem, not this round. Um, what else we got? Noah Gray. I mean, Noah Gray is the man. We'll talk about that as we break down the game a little bit more. But Noah had 4 for 66. Kelsey 6 for 62. Worthy had 4 for 46. D Hop 5 for 35. And God, D Hop, man, what we needed that. We needed that breath of fresh air. That is 100% sure. So it's nice to have him on the team. Hopefully they can work something out and then keep him around. We'll see. In Veach we trust, right? Absolutely. All right, well, let's talk about the game. This one was a little different for us. We don't have many of these. Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock kickoff. That's 1 o'clock Eastern for all those people out there in Central Time. It was at Chiefs traveling down to North Carolina Sunday, November 24th. We'll talk about the first quarter with the Panthers winning the toss. The kickoff had P. Ryan opening kickoff was a badass kickoff. Let me tell you, he definitely got some run room on that, and it looked amazing. It ended up with Noah Gray for the touchdown with about 13:39 to go in the first quarter. So it was a very quick first drive. It was boom, 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 and we were in the end zone. And I think that is kind of why I thought maybe we should be just killing it, in this game. It's like this is what we can do in our opening drive, but I don't know, man. Our offensive line was just letting these guys through, and but it's bugging me a little bit. But Panthers take over on their first drive, and they end it with a field goal, making it 7-3. Our second drive looked really, really good. It was Hunt had a big catch and run, I believe. Let me see if I've got that right here. I believe that was his biggest of the day, probably about 13 yards. But it was a monstrous catch and run. Kelsey had a nice 19-yard run. D Hop, get and go for the first, and then Steele for another 9 yards on a real solid run. I, I mean, that was his only run of the day, though. I do believe. He, no, that wasn't a run. That was a pass. I'm so sorry, guys. That was a pass. I'm looking at the wrong stat here. That was definitely a pass, and I think that's why I wrote that down because it was good to see Carson Steele actually have a good pass and putting some yak on after the catch. I mean, we all know that Steele can when he gets the ball, you just got to watch out, man. Um, he's going to run your ass over. Period. So he did have, let me say, he did have one rush for 4 yards. So he's not touching the ball a lot, but maybe they'll work on that a little bit. Like I said in previous podcasts, I believe that Steele is still just that young. He got a little bit of swagger in his step, and I think he still needs to kind of learn the game a little bit more and I don't know, quote unquote, respect his elders. I think he's learning that exceptionally well, but I seen it early on where he was like trying to tell Mahomes what to do, and I was like, do you really want to do that? I mean, the guy's been around. He's a Super Bowl MVP, league MVP, three Super Bowl championships. Maybe you just ought to just chill and learn, buddy. And nobody's rooting for Carson Steele more than I am. Indiana boy, I mean, close to home. I really like his stamina, and I like his excitement and his drive. And that the only thing is that he's just got to learn to get hands a little bit better on some of these out of the backfield. When he comes out and catches, it seems to be that he's always looking ahead, maybe just a little too quick. So they're working on it. They'll get it figured out. They're better at this than I am. But that field goal or that drive does end with a field goal. Um, what is it? Why the Carolina defense holds strong in the red zone. That's 2:30 to go in the first quarter, giving it 10-3 Chiefs. That makes pretty much the end of the first quarter at that point. So there wasn't much going on in the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Second quarter, Carolina their drive stalls, and at the 13, the field goal 10-6. Uh, my little note here is fucking hilarious. My note says Mahomes is Bobby's child, and as she yells at him to slide. So on on the next Kansas City drive, Mahomes breaks out and is going for the first down, And the rocker chick is just screaming at the TV, slide, slide. I go, God, what is he, your child? And she's like, yes, he is. So I made sure I hit a side note on that. At 13-16 left to go in the second, a 26 yarder, 26 yard rope. It was a rope to Kelsey. It was unbelievable. I mean, it was like right there. And then we ended up with what I thought was a bad grounding call on Mahomes. And I'm not sure he's out of the pocket. He's really just throwing it away, but it didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. I know, it's supposed to be back to the line of scrimmage, but they talked about there was no receiver within, in the area. But going back and watching the replay on it, I can't remember who was there, but there was a receiver right there. I mean, within 5 yards of where that ball touched the ground. So I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. I, I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, Chiefs hold. Um, what 15? Oh, the next play was when Mahomes filtered out as a wide receiver. Hardman and the Wildcat picked up 9 yards for the first down. It's these plays that sometimes these guys put together are simply crazy. And to see Pat Mahomes as a wide receiver, it's funny because you think that as a defensive guy, you would think that if McCole Hardman is under center, you're not gonna throw. He's not gonna throw the ball. He's never proven to be any form of a quarterback whatsoever. I'm not saying he can't throw the ball, but you'd almost like pull your guy off of Mahomes and go in and buckle down the run because that's where it's going. It's going to the Wildcat form. But anyways, he come up with the first down. So, but too many penalties on that drive. We end up with a field goal, giving us a score of 13-6. Um, Next drive, the Chiefs hold the Panthers to a nice 3-and-out. Chiefs are driving until a 2-minute warning. And then Noah Gray for the touchdown with 44 seconds to go, giving us a 20-6 lead over the Carolina Panthers. Um, and then the next drive, this is where, and I haven't heard anything more, but that Carolina Panther player that got hurt, um, I read something that he's out of the hospital, but they're still evaluating his neck. He definitely came down really, really funky on it. Uh, it was a low hit. I think it was Connor that put the hit on him. Hit him low. He went up in the air. Drew Tranquil kind of made sure he was going to go out of bounds on the whole thing. And I mean, it looked brutal. I'm not gonna lie. And he landed on his head. And I hope he's okay. I hope everything's good. I mean, immediately he tried to stand up, so you knew that it wasn't like he had broke anything back in there. So you knew that he had motion and flexibility in his arms and legs. But still, that is when you had to bring the cart out to pick the guy up off of the field. He's on a stretcher and he's neck brace the whole 9 yards. It definitely puts in perspective how hard of hitting this game really is. And if you didn't see I think it was the Thursday night game last week, and the hit that Russell Wilson took on the last play of that game. Yeah, and it was a clean hit. I mean, it wasn't bad, but man, he got railed, and he jumped back up. He's a tough kid, but damn, it looked like it hurt. I know I wouldn't want to take that kind of hit, but damn, it looked like it hurt. So we end up going into the half at 20-9. Apparently, I missed writing down where Carolina got another field goal. They had 3 field goals in the first half. So yeah, 20-9 going into the half. Carolina gets the ball coming out of the half. Of course, they're just going to start the second half with a false start. But they did end up taking almost half, if not more than half, of the third quarter on this drive. It was insane. It ended up with let's see, Carolina scores a touchdown, so they end up scoring a touchdown on this drive, and they missed the 2 point conversion. Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. You got to remember, I'm recording this a couple days after. I'm just reading my notes. So they attempted to do a 2 point conversion. There was a flag for a foul on Justin Reed, so they get a chance to retry it. There's a flag on the second try of the 2 point conversion, which Carolina just declines, and they go with a field goal. So all that work and two flags, and they still just end up with 1 point. But so with 6 minutes and 26 seconds left to go in the third, it is now 20-16 Kansas City. Big drive for KC on this next one. A lot of help from the unsportsmanlike penalty. Um, it is a Kansas City touchdown to D Hop. Good to see him getting another one. I think that is 27. Is that right? 27-16. Um, with 2:44 left to go in the third. And of course, it just kind of winds down, in the third, sees Carolina driving again. Not sure how Young is getting some of those passes that he got. I mean, the kid throws like a freaking bazooka. I mean, it is just a straight shot, and it is fast, and it is hard. And I give it up to his receivers for bringing those things in, because they're the only ones that are going to get him with where he's putting them and how fast they are coming through. But man, they are um, definitely got some good hands on them. So yeah, hand it to Carolina and their wide receivers for being able to handle some of those passes. Going into the fourth, we did have a personal foul on 69. I'm not really sure. I wrote down it's bullshit, but I can't remember exactly what the personal foul was. Carolina's drive did end with just a field goal with 12:37 to go, giving it 27-19. Um, Chiefs are still up. KC's drive ended with a punt because our fucking offensive line decided to go on break. Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. They were just letting guys through. It just seemed like boom. I think there was like two sacks in there, like back to back or something like that. I mean, it was just insane that they could not hold these guys up. I would think, honestly, as a offensive coordinator, they would leave some of those running backs if they're just going to go for the pass play and leave a running back in the backfield to kind of clean up anything that's coming through, kind of keep an eye out. They don't seem to do that. I mean, they just kind of leave Mahomes back there to do the thing. But I'm so aggravated at the offense at this point. I'm not even keeping notes. During the game, I'm just frustrated. I'm constantly screaming at it. But Carolina does come back for another touchdown and a 2 point conversion, which now ties it up 27-27 with a minute 46 to go. But you don't leave Patrick Mahomes any time on the clock. Everybody knows that. And you know who knows it the best? Josh Allen. Even 13 seconds. It doesn't matter. They put the drive together. Kansas City put the drive together. They did it. One 33-yard run by Mahomes was part of that. But Schrader with the game-winning field goal, last seconds on the clock. Chiefs win 30-27. My God. So listen, I believe in my Chiefs. I love my Chiefs. That doesn't mean I can't be aggravated with my Chiefs. I sit down every week and I watch them and I love them and I buy their merch. I wear their merch. I go to games. I root them on every week, but that does not mean that I can't be aggravated with them. As well as, I'm sure you, Chiefs Kingdom out there, get as aggravated as I do. But I love them, and I'll be rooting for them till the very, very end of this season. So no matter what the outcome is. But yeah, so there you go. That is pretty much a breakdown of. Was there anything special that happened? Mahomes had a fumble but didn't lose it. I'm Najee Johnson is on the top of the list for the defense. Five solo hits. But it just seems like he's making worse decisions than he's making good decisions, even though he's right on top. It's stupid. I know. I think it's time. And I saw a couple other people post some stuff online. I'm not the only one that thinks this. That maybe Johnson needs to be swapped out for somebody else. But once again, I'm the armchair quarterback here, so I don't necessarily claim to be all knowing and all seeing. But we did come away with two sacks. Got half by McDuffie and by Bolton, and Mike Dana. Mike Dana got a big one. So um, did oh my God, yeah. So Carolina ended up with five sacks in this game. They Clowney was just a monster. He was in there constantly just wreaking havoc in the backfield. Yeah, I don't even talk about it, man. Hey, Clowney was amazing as far as a defensive guy. We had some kick returns. Samaje Perine, three returns for 104 yards. So that big one I was talking about early on was like a 56-yard run back, which in today's kickoff scenario, that's tougher and tougher to do because most of the time they're just kicking it into the end zone, like bringing it out to the 30 and calling it good. But looks like McCole had one punt return for -4 yards. But Spencer Schrader did a great job. He went 3 for 3 on field goals, with the longest being 41. I am curious of what his leg length is, if it's 60 yards or if it's only 50. I'm not 100% sure. You can hear the guys talking about it in the booth, but I didn't really hear if anybody had an exact um, what his exact distance is. So I guess we got a couple more weeks before Harrison Butker comes back. So I guess maybe we'll get a chance to see what his long is. Bryce Young, like I said, had a good day. Went 21 for 35 for 263 yards. Had himself a touchdown. Um, his only average is about 7.5, but Pat only averaged about 7.3. But he did have three touchdowns. So two to Noah Gray, which once again, Noah Gray, second week in a row with two tutties. Congratulations to Noah. I mean, if he's not the player of the game, I don't know who is. But I have been keeping track of the old number 74, Jawan Taylor. This is the first week he's had two penalties. Normally, the last few weeks he's been real quiet. I think maybe he had one last weekend, but I think that the couple weeks before that he didn't have any. He is truly one of the most penalized players in the NFL. But I think over the last, I don't know, say month, 2 months, he hasn't had a ton of them. Been trying to keep track of them. But he did have two, and they were back to back plays this round, which, oh man, I don't know. You can't do that shit. Come on. I mean, you were getting better. Don't revert and go back to being a penalty whore. We don't want it. Chiefs don't want it. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him at the end of the season. We did get DJ Humphreys, was that from New England, I believe, coming in at left tackle. So he might be splitting duties with slipping duties with Wanya Morris a little bit. We'll see how that turns out. But and I did hear him say that Joe Tooney, and I guess I didn't know this. Joe Tooney, who's an offensive lineman for KC, has 4 Super Bowl rings. Now, you remember he's got 2 of them with Kansas City, the last 2 years, but he also has 2 of them with New England. I didn't realize that he had so many rings. Man, he's still ahead of Kelsey and Mahomes, who've only got 3. And as long as he stays in Kansas City, he's gonna get another 2, 3. I'm thinking probably. So we'll see how long he stays. But uh, it's terrible. All right, gang. I don't really have much more to say over that. Just it was a fun, exciting, pain in my ass game to watch. It was a lot of headache and a lot of heartache, and definitely we'll be looking forward to this week's game against the Raiders. Looks like Gardner Minshew is out. I think he got injured in this last game, and it didn't sound like it was going to be very promising for him to be back anytime soon. So we will have that, but Max Crosby is always there, and if our offensive line doesn't stouten up, then he's going to be in Mahomes' face more often than not. But it is a Black Friday game, so Friday. I'm not sure what time the game is, but we'll be sitting around the house with our McDuffie jersey or our Mahomes jersey or whatever we're wearing that day, ready to root on our Chiefs and hope for another win as they head back to Arrowhead to host Raiders this time. So it'll be interesting. All right, gang. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to tune in. Like I said, I know it's kind of a shorter episode as we just kind of chit chat about the game a little bit. And hopefully, Chief will be back next week and get things squared away and get things back up and rolling, kind of our regular deal. But looking forward to it. Looking forward to that Raiders game. And as you're listening to this, you hope you're enjoying your Turkey Day. It is Thanksgiving, and I hope you're enjoying the time with the family, which is, the most important part. But remember, you got football all day long. You got the Cowboys and the Lions as they host every year on Thanksgiving. It's a tradition, and you guys need to quit knocking it. Just let it happen. Just let it happen. It's fine. It is what America is built on, the Lions and the Cowboys. And what a role has changed this season. Usually the Cowboys are the winning team and the Lions are not. No more. Those Lions are 10-1, and damn, they are looking tough. They're gonna be stout the rest of this season, and look forward to seeing what they can do, and look forward to beating them in the Super Bowl. Should be a hell of a game if that's the case. All right, guys, I'm out. And remember, from our little slice of Chiefs Kingdom right here in the great state of Indiana, I just got 3 words for you, baby. How about those Chiefs? Later.
Thank you for listening to the Indiana Chiefs Fans Podcast. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Podbean, any of your favorite podcast sites. Be sure to watch us on YouTube. Just search for the Indiana Chiefs Fans Podcast. Also, check us out on Facebook for any updates on the Chiefs and all of our weekly posts. You can find us at facebook.com/INChiefsFansPod. Finally, go check out our Golden Mojo Entertainment website at goldenmojoent.com. You can find information about your 3 favorite hosts and all the other podcasts in the Golden Mojo Entertainment family. Those podcasts include The Call Guys, Golden Image Podcast, The United States of Paranormal, The Golden 80s Podcast, The Murdnerds, and A Court of Books and Booze. Thank you for tuning in, and how about those Chiefs?